Hello and welcome to Game 1 of the 2024 AABA Championship Series between Locker Room and Holsinger Plumbing. Now for Locker Room starting lineup. Batting first, playing center field, number 7, Lawson Pazowski. Batting second, playing shortstop, number 23, Connor Steer. Batting third, playing first base, number 11, Cooper Miller. Batting fourth, the pitcher, number 10, Ty Ruschel. Batting fifth, playing second base, number 22, Declan Lutz. Batting sixth, playing third base, number 3, Braden Augustine. Batting seventh, the catcher, number 25, Mason Sear. Batting eighth, playing left field, number 12, Tobias Smith. Batting ninth, playing right field, number 1, Carter Wilmot. The reserves, Chase Piotti, Nate Dudley, Keelan Ryan, and Henry Jung. Coached by Brett Miller, Mike Ruschel, Anthony Augustine, Joe Piotti, and Dustin Schaefer. Now for Holsinger starting lineup. Batting first, playing shortstop, number 20, Trenton Fairbaugh. Batting second, the catcher, number 3, Xavier Fairbaugh. Batting third, the pitcher, number 2, Cannon Shields. Batting fourth, playing second base, number 14, Carter Klausman. Batting fifth, playing first base, number 11, Micah Fairbaugh. Batting sixth, playing third base, number 1, Corbin Johnston. Batting seventh, playing center field, number 19, Gio Peretta. Batting eighth, playing left field, number 12, Taven Hatfield. Batting ninth, playing right field, number 18, Eddie Rumbaugh. The reserves, Corey Smith, Ben Gordon, Parker Trexler, Jackson Emerson, Levi Bailey, Grayson McGarvey. Coached by Brian Fairbaugh, Jared Klausman, Josh Fairbaugh, Brendan Peretta, and Jared Hatfield. Ladies and gentlemen, please rise and remove your caps to the playing of our national anthem. Leading off top of the first inning is the center fielder number 7, Lawson Pazowski.
Hello, baseball fans. It's finally that time. Game 1 of the AABA Championship. And here we get first pitch by Cannon Shields. And it's in there for strike 1 on Lawson Pazowski. Pleasure to have you with us here on this Friday evening. Hope your 4th of July was enjoyable. I'm Jake Irwin, providing you the play-by-play commentary. And it's a 1-1 count to start off. Locker room center fielder Lawson Pazowski here in Game 1 in this best-of-3 series for the 2024 AABA Championship. Comes the 1-1, and it's down the heart of the plate for a 1-2 count on locker room's leadoff batter. It's an off-speed pitch outside for a 2-2 count. And it's fouled off. Count stays at 2-2 here for Pazowski, who is an on-base machine, whether it's walking, recording a hit, or even getting hit by a pitch. Pazowski is so good at finding ways to get on base, but he faces a challenge today with Cannon Shields throwing pitches, and he sends a grounder over to the shortstop, and throwing it over is Trenton Faribaugh to Micah Faribaugh at first for out number 1 on the 6-3 putout.
Representing shortstop number 23, Holsinger.
So the first batter is retired, and up steps the right-handed batter, Connor Steer. First one by Shields is down and away for a 1-0 count. We saw Shields last time out when Holsingers beat LS Fury by a 7-1 score in Game 3 of the semifinals, where he threw 2 innings, and those 2 innings were pretty exceptional. No hits and no runs, 1 walk, and 4 strikeouts for Shields. It's a 3-0 count here on Connor Steer. Here's a windup and the 3-0. Throws it right down Main Street for a 3-1 count. After the ground out by Lawson Pazowski, Connor Steer sits in with a 3-1 count, watches that one just outside for ball 4, and that's the first base runner of our game.
First baseman number 11, Cooper Miller.
And so now the first baseman, Cooper Miller, will step up, but not until we have a mound visit here between Xavier Faribaugh and Cannon Shields. Potentially discussing the game plan. Not sure what this could be about on just Shields' 3rd batter of the day. First base umpire walking over to see what the discussion's all about. "85 degrees here at the time of first pitch, and primarily cloudy, although there is no rain in the forecast for this game, knock on wood, but it looks like we're in the clear in terms of inclement weather. And now the mound meeting disperses, and we're ready for the 3rd batter of the day, Cooper Miller. Runner on first with 1 out. It's Connor Steer at first after his walk. And the first pitch to Miller, just outside of the zone, 1-0. I have a few people commenting on this game already. Ethan Ronan This is, in fact, not the Altoona Curve game, Ethan Ronan. 2-0 count here on Cooper Miller. Don't think. Grounder sent over to the shortstop, Trenton Faribaugh. Doesn't even look at second, just throws across for the ground out of Cooper Miller. And the first base coach holding his head, thinking that he could have been called safe there. It was a very close play, but maybe just out by a step. 2 outs. Connor Steer advancing to second base. And now the cleanup batter, Ty Rischel. I was just about to say, this is in fact not the Altoona Curve game, Ethan Ronan. And don't think that the AABA has streaming rights for the Altoona Curve. I'll let you know if they ever do, though. 0-1 count to start off Ty Rischel here. And hits one over to the shortstop, Trenton Faribaugh. And that is out number 3. All 3 outs, a 6-3 putout. As locker room strands a runner at second base. After a walk from Connor Steer, we go to the bottom of the first here in game 1 of the championship, where Holsingers will bring out the bats for the first time. That's coming up here shortly. Back here at John Kraft Field on 9th Street in Altoona, Pennsylvania, the site for the 2024 AABA Championship. Nothing going for the locker room batters in the top of the first, and now we go to Holsingers with Trenton Faribaugh taking strike 1 here against locker room's pitcher Ty Rischel, who, just like Cannon Shields, has been outstanding throughout the postseason. 0-2 here on leadoff batter Trenton Faribaugh. Rischel pitched in locker room's last game, in which they beat Parcombe by 15-1 score. This one belted out to right field for a base hit. And that's the first base runner of the night for Holsinger's Plumbing. Last time we saw Rischel, it was the 15-1 defeat they gave to Parcombe. Rischel pitched exceptionally in that game. One and no count here to start off Xavier Faribaugh. Next offering, and it's a grounder. Sent sharply over to third. Augustine able to handle it, though, and makes the throw to second base, where Declan Lutz catches it to get the lead runner, Trenton Faribaugh. So a fielder's choice for Xavier Faribaugh, runner on first with one away. And up comes the pitcher, Cannon Shields.
Now batting the pitcher number 2, Cannon Shields.
Curveball. That curves its way into the bottom of the zone. Strike one on Holsinger's number 3 hitter. Distant firework goes off. Still some leftovers from the 4th. 0-1. Belted out to the shortstop off the backhand from his knees. Throws to second base to get the lead runner again. Oh, an exceptional play there by Connor Steer at short. And now 2 away. Xavier Faribaugh getting thrown out at second base. Back-to-back fielder's choices here for Holsingers. Cannon Shields at first base, 2 outs. And up comes Carter Klausman. Takes an off-speed pitch inside. 1-0. Next offering. And it's slapped out into shallow right field. And it's going to drop in before anybody can get to it. Heading into third base is Shields, and advancing to second on the throw is Carter Klausman. So a single by Carter Klausman getting into second base prolongs this inning here for Holsingers. All of a sudden, runners on second and third with 2 outs. And up comes the first baseman, Micah Faribaugh. With 2 ducks on the pond and 2 away, the first pitch he receives is downstairs towards the turf for a 1-0 count. Very still breeze out there. Not much wind, though, here this evening. The 1-0. And hits one right up the middle past second base out into center field. 1 run comes in to score. Here's a play at the plate. In behind the tag is Klausman. Throw to second base. And out at second base is Micah Faribaugh. But those 2 runs will count, so he gets the 2 RBI single, and the side will retire. So after Cannon Shields reached on a fielder's choice and Carter Klausman got on with a single, both of them driven in with a 2 RBI single by Micah Faribaugh to have Holsingers reach the scoreboard first in Game 1 of this championship. Second inning coming up here just after the break on the AABA Sports Network. Cannon Shields starting his second inning of work as the starting pitcher here for Game 1 of this championship game for Holsinger's Plumbing. Saw him in that 7-1 win versus LS Fiore to get to the championship game, where he threw 2 innings, giving up no hits, no runs, a walk, and recording 4 strikeouts. Slow dribbler down the third base line, and that gives plenty of time for Declan Lutz to get on board with a single. So the single brings up Braden Augustine. First pitch that he sees, he lifts behind home plate for a foul ball. Augustine got on base 3 out of the 4 times he was up to the plate last game in that big win versus Park Home. takes the 0-1 pitch and swings at the high one offered there by Shields. So an 0-2 count here on Locker Room's number 6 batter. With Lutz at first base, nobody out. He'll wind up in the 0-2, and it's slammed out into right center field, where that's going to allow Declan Lutz to round second. And now trouble with it along the wall there by Peretta, so that gives enough time for Lutz to score on the RBI double by Braden Augustine to make this a one-run game. And now the catcher, Mason Steer. Going to try to tie this ball game with that runner on second and nobody out. Here's Shields with his windup and offers a fastball right off of his mitt. Return to sender there. Second baseman Klausman, though, picks up the scraps and chucks it over to first base for the ground up. That does advance Augustine deeper in scoring position. He's at third base with one out. So chalked it up as a rare 1-4-3 putout after it tipped off the very edge of Shields' mitt, and now up is Tobias Smith. Tobias reached with a walk last game, offers a bunt and can't connect. Gets strike number 1. And of course, in that 11-1 win for the Locker Room over Park Home in that semifinal series, runner coming home, and in the score is Braden Augustine on the wild pitch. And just like that, we are all knotted up. One out, 2-2 ball game, and a 0-2 count here on Smith. And then, yeah, like I was saying before, that run scored in game 2 of the semifinals. Tobias Smith had that RBI bunt to seal the mercy rule that they had in that game. Of course, back-to-back mercy rules by Locker Room against Park Home in games 2 and 3 of the semifinals after losing game 1. Their only loss in the semis. Tobias Smith goes down swinging, and that'll be 2 away. First strikeout of the day recorded by Shields. Strike 1 to the right fielder, Carter Wilmot. So an RBI double by Braden Augustine. And then Augustine coming around to score in a wild pitch is how we're knotted up at 2. Holsingers plated their runners after a 2 RBI single by Micah Faribaugh. 0-2, and swings through it for strike number 3. Shields gets back-to-back punch-outs, and that's the end of the top of the second inning. But Locker Room responding to those 2 runs put up by Holsingers with 2 runs of their own. We go to the bottom of the second frame after the quick break here on the AABA Sports Network. First pitch here to Corbin Johnston, and he sends a grounder over to Connor Steer. He gives a strong throw over to first for out number 1 here on Holsingers to start off the home half of the second inning. So now we get a look at Gio Peretta. Peretta had a pair of walks in Game 3 of the semifinals, along with an RBI groundout. So all productive at-bats. Take strike 1. Rischel gets the one he wants, and his off-speed pitch has Peretta swinging away at that one and thrown off by that nasty curve that Rischel releases. 0-2 count on him with one away. And the 0-2, another off-speed pitch, back-to-back curveballs, and he has Peretta swinging out of his shoes. And that's 2 quick outs here against Holsingers here in the bottom of this second inning. First strikeout recorded by Rischel this evening. Now the left fielder, Taven Hatfield. It's the first one over the shortstop, who overthrows Miller at first base, but it caroms off the wall hard enough to where it goes right back to Miller. So Hatfield reaches on an error, and that'll continue the bottom of the second here for Holsingers, and now the number 9 hitter, Eddie Brumbaugh. Rischel's first pitch to him hits the bottom of the zone for strike number 1. Next one offered up by Rischel, and offering the bunt but bowling it back is Brumbaugh. Augustine charging up the third baseline. 1-1 even count. Outfielders playing medium depth. Little to no breeze still out there. Lights beginning to take some effect on the field here on this cloudy Friday evening. And it's a 1-2 count here on Brumbaugh. Here comes the 1-2. And swinging away at that one and fouling it behind home plate, out of play. So Brumbaugh will step back in there with a 1-2 count. Holsingers scoring those 2 runs during 2 RBI single by Micah Fairbaugh in the first inning. The 1-2 off speed well above his head. Evens the count at 2-2. Then Lockerim scored off an RBI double by Braden Augustine, and then he would come around to score on a wild pitch. Outside, 3-2. 7th pitch of this at-bat coming up. And the payoff. Swings through it for strike number 3. And that's the end of our second inning. Second punch-out recorded by Rischel on the mound. Hatfield was able to score on an error, but no harm, no foul for Locker Room. To the third we go here in Game 1 of the AABA Championship, tied at 2. Welcome back here to John Kraft Field in Altoona, Pennsylvania. As Lawson Pajzowski is starting us off here for the top of our third inning. Grounded out to the shortstop in his first appearance. First pitch, just outside, 1-0. Shields in his third inning of work as the starter on the mound for Holsingers. Comes the 1-0 offering, 2-0. Pajzowski with 3 walks in Game 3 of the semifinal round. One of those was an RBI walk. 2-0 on its way for Locker Room's leadoff batter, and it hits the top of the zone for a 2-1 count. Game 2 of the semis, Pajzowski had a pair of singles. Take strike 2. 2-2 even count as there continues to be distant fireworks. So if you hear that through the stream, whether you're watching on Facebook or YouTube, that's what that is. The 2-2, just outside, 3-2. Pajzowski putting together a tough at-bat here to begin this third inning. Definitely one of the toughest outs in the league. The payoff by Shields hits the edge of the zone for strike 3. Beautiful placement there by Cannon Shields. The first backwards K he's handed to a locker room batter this evening. 3 consecutive strikeouts recorded by Shields on the mound. He's starting to get in a groove now. And when he does, look out, because he can put batters away in a hurry. 1 out here in the top of the third, and up comes Connor Steer. And that one missing by mere inches. 0-1 on Steer, who walked back in the first inning last time we saw him in the batter's box. And the pitch on its way, and it hits the zone, 1-1 even count. One ball, 1 strike, 1 out. Elevated fastball. Shields showing the high heat there. 2-1 here on Locker Room's number 2 batter in the lineup this evening. Next one offered at knee level, 2-2. Corbin Johnston playing pretty close to that third base bag down the third base line. He rips this one deep to left field. It goes off the wall. Rounding first and heading to second. Here comes a throw by the left fielder Hatfield, and it's not in time. Sliding in safely with a double is Connor Steer. Second time he's reached base in this game. Runner on second with 1 out here for Locker Room. As Locker Room makes a push for their first lead of the ball game. And up steps Cooper Miller. 0-1 count here in his second at-bat after he grounded out to the shortstop last time. Had a RBI double, a single, an RBI single after that, and then a walk last time out. And taps one over to the third baseman, who makes a strong throw, and it's not in time. Corbin Johnston thought he had him, and instead it goes as an infield single for Cooper Miller. Advancing Connor Steer to third, so runners on the corners with 1 out, and up comes the cleanup batter, Ty Rischel.
Batting the pitcher number 10, Ty Rischel.
Rischel with a ground out last time. Leading run is just 60 feet away, taken off for second base, and Shields isn't going to even muster a throw. As Cooper Miller's into second base, runners on second and third now here with 1 away and an 0-1 count on the pitcher Rischel. There's a wind up from Shields, and he fires a fastball, and it's just a touch low, so 1-1. Rischel with 2 singles last game, one of those an RBI single, as well as an RBI ground out. and smacks one to the shortstop. He's able to field it and prevent it from going to the outfield. RBI ground out, throw to third, and he's safe. So Cooper Miller in the third, Connor Steer scoring on an RBI ground out by Ty Rischel. And Locker Room will take their first lead of the game.
After the second base, number 22, Declan Lutz.
And now up comes Declan Lutz. High chopper sent over the pitcher's head. Shortstop makes a strong throw to prevent Locker Room from getting that insurance run. So a 3-2 ball game in favor of Locker Room here in game one of this championship. After that RBI ground out by Ty Rischel to score Connor Steer. After Steer got on with a double that really sparked a productive top of the third inning for Locker Room. More baseball coming up here in just a minute here on the AABA Sports Network. Back here at John Kraft Field, where it is the bottom of the third, and it's a 3-2 lead for Locker Room. And we go to the top of the order with Trenton Faribaugh stepping up. First one he sees is an off-speed pitch inside, 1-0. Last time we saw Rischel was game 3 of the semis, where he threw 2 innings. And they were 2 perfect innings, 3 up, 3 down in both frames. And now a slow one sent over to the shortstop, has time, throws it low, but Cooper Miller is able to corral it for the 6-3 putout. 1 away.
Catcher number 3, Xavier Faribaugh.
And now Xavier Faribaugh. Off-balance swing at that nasty off-speed stuff offered up by Rischel. And now Coach Jared Klausman going to have a talk with Xavier after that swing right there. 1 out, 0-1 count here on the number 2 hitter, Xavier Faribaugh. 3-2 ball game in game 1 of this championship. Curveball, and it's too high, 1-1. Comes a 1-1 pitch outside, 2-1. Faribaugh got on with a fielder's choice last time, went 0 for 3 in game 3 of the semifinals, so he's certainly due. Was able to collect a couple singles in game 2 of the semis. Fouled back, and we have a 2-2 even count. Rischel set on the rubber, and the right-hander deals. Up and inside, 3-2, full count here on Faribaugh. Nobody on base, and 1 out here in the bottom of the third. 3-2 lead. And home plate umpire has to call time here as there's some kids behind home plate, behind the fence. Payoff, and it's hit on a line down the first base line, but it's just foul by a couple feet. So we'll do another payoff. Seventh pitch of this at-bat coming up here between Rischel and Xavier Faribaugh. 3-2. And it's hit out to right field, shallow right field. Making the catch, though, is Carter Wilmot. Almost took off his glove, but he was able to snare it for back-to-back outs here against Holsingers.
Batting the pitcher, number 2, Cannon Shields.
And again, the home plate umpire has to tell kids behind home plate to get out so they don't distract any of the players on the field. 2 outs, and up is Cannon Shields, who got on with a fielder's choice and would come around to score on a 2 RBI single by Micah Fairbaugh, 0-1 count here on Shields in his second at bat. Curveball, and he sends it over to third. Throw across the diamond there by Braden Augustine. And 3 up, 3 down goes Holsinger's Plumbing, as locker room will hold on to their 3-2 lead heading into the 4th. More of the championship coming up here in just a moment.
Leading off the top of the 4th inning is the third baseman, number 3, Braden Augustine.
To the 4th inning we go. Cannon Shields in his 4th inning of work. Here's a starter on the mound for Holsingers. And the first batter he faces will be the third baseman, Braden Augustine. First pitch, and it's a strike. Augustine had that big RBI double in the second inning. Would also come around to score on a wild pitch. 0-1 offered up by Shields, and Augustine can't keep up with the velocity there offered on that Shields fastball. 0-2 here on locker room's number 6 hitter. The 0-2, and he swings through that one. 3 straight pitches there.
Catcher number 25, Mason Steer.
There by Shields and Augustine. Nothing outside of the zone. And that is the 4th strikeout by Shields here in the evening, 1 away. Now the number 7 batter, Mason Steer, who grounded out last time on that 1-4-3 putout. 1 ball and no strikes here on Mason Steer. Righty versus righty battle. And just pops this one up towards the fence and right, and a nice play there by Micah Fairbaugh in foul territory, ranging his way towards the seats beyond the first baseline.
Left fielder number 12, Tobias Smith.
Momentum had him carrying beautifully there into foul territory, and while in stride, flashed the leather for the one-handed grab. And that's 2 quick outs here on locker room. Outside pitch here to start off Tobias Smith, 1-0, after he went down with a punch out last time we saw him. 2 outs, nobody on base. Here to start off this 4th inning. Big time fastball there by Shields, but it misses inside, so it's a 2-0 count. Shields has just been really attacking the strike zone here in this top of the fourth inning. Not afraid to throw a steady diet of fastballs. Let's see what he does here. It's another fastball, and it's right down the middle for a 2-1 count here on Smith. Outfielders playing pretty shallow here. The 2-1. And pretty identical pitch to the last one. Another fastball. Right down the center. 2-2 even count here with 2 outs on locker room. Shields looking for 3 up, 3 down. And he gets it. Swinging through that one is Tobias Smith. And now that is 5 strikeouts for Shields. He has struck out 5 of the last 6 batters he's faced. Really starting to feel good out there on the mound. We go to the bottom of the fourth, where locker room holds a 3-2 lead. Back with more here after this quick break. Back here at the AABA Championship, Game 1 of this 3-game series. Bottom of the fourth, with Carter Klausman stepping up. First pitch, curveball, inside here in Rischel's 4th inning of work. And after these bats were hot here in the early going, both teams have gone 3 up, 3 down. As the locker room went 3 up, 3 down in the top of the fourth, and last time Holsinger's had the bats, they did so as well. Comes a 2-0 to Klausman, and he hits an absolute missile out into left field. Diving for it was Connor Steer. Couldn't get there. Trying to push for 2 and getting in with the slide is Carter Klausman. His 2nd hit of the ball game after he had a single back in the 1st inning. And what a game 1 here for Carter Klausman, Holsinger's 2nd baseman. A multi-hit performance. Now the first pitch here to Micah Faribaugh. And it's an 0-1 count. Had a 2 RBI single the last time we saw him to score Cannon Shields and Carter Klausman. And just gets a piece of this one and fouls it back 0-2. Here on Holsinger's number 5 hitter. Oh, 2 on its way here by Rischel, curveball, and it's a bouncer sent down the third base line where head coach Jared Klausman barehands it and just sends it back into the field of play. 0-2 here on Micah Faribaugh. He deals the 0-2, and another one fouled off, this time towards the street beyond right field. Nobody out. Klausman's 2nd after his double here in the bottom of the 4th. And the pitch. It's an off-speed down the third base line, off the backhand of Augustine. Throws it into 3rd and not in time as Klausman's in safely. After that single there by Micah Faribaugh, Just like Carter Klausman, he now has a multi-hit game after that 2 RBI single last time. So now Klausman at third.
Number 1, Corbin Boston.
And Micah Faribault first with nobody out. Holsinger's trailing by 1. Tying run now just 60 feet away, and up comes Corbin Johnston. Curveball up high, 1-0, and taking second base without any trouble is Micah Faribault. Stuttering there a little bit between first and second, trying to force a throw there by Rischel, but just kept it in his pocket. Next one, and it's bunted, has some backspin as it curves its way back to home plate, checking that runner at third, and Mason Steer didn't even give a throw there at first base, didn't want to risk that run scoring, but now bases are loaded with nobody out. On that bunt single there by Corbin Johnston for his first hit of the ball game. 3 consecutive hits here for Holsingers. After not recording a hit since Micah Faribault did back in the first inning, they have 3 straight, and up is Gio Peretta. Big swing from him and missing 0-1. Struck out his last time. Peretta, the number 7 batter in this order. Bases loaded, nobody out. After a double by Klausman and back-to-back singles by Micah Faribault and Corbin Johnston. Down low and outside, 1-1. This is really the first time Rischel has had issues as of late. In terms of that, I mean, any jams on the mound, so let's see how he responds to that. 1-2 count after Peretta fouls it back. As I mentioned earlier, Rischel has been pretty seamless lately, so let's see how he does facing this adversity. One-two on its way, curveball, and just getting a piece of that is Peretta. Rischel trying to strike out a batter with that nasty curveball he has. He's done it many times before throughout the season where he just gets batters to swing on top of it because they're not expecting that last-second curve. But it's a nice job there by Peretta to just foul it off. Still stands in with that 1-2 count. Now another curveball, but this time misses the zone. 2-2 even count. Bases loaded, nobody out. Here for Holsingers. And the pitch. Right down the middle. For strike number 3. Second time that Rischel has gotten Peretta on strikes. That's a big out, number 1 here. The bases loaded. Third strikeout of the day recorded by Rischel on the rubber. Now it's Taven Hatfield who got on with an error back in the second inning. First pitch here to Hatfield, and he gives it a pop into the air behind home plate, discarding the mask, and making a big catch is Mason Steer. Rischel trying to get out of this bases-loaded jam. After 3 consecutive hits by Holsingers to load the bases, Rischel's gotten 2 outs on the number 7 and 8 hitter. A strikeout of Peretta, and a pop-out by Hatfield. And now a pinch hitter into the ball game for Eddie Brumbaugh. It's Ben Gordon. Strike 1 here on Gordon. First we've seen from him lately. Did not play in games 2 or 3 of these semis. There's a windup by Rischel into 0-1. Touches the outer portion of the zone, and Rischel's 1 strike away from getting out of a bases-loaded, no-outs jam. 0-2 on the number 9 hitter, Ben Gordon. Pinch hitting for Eddie Brumbaugh. Just misses the outer portion of the strike zone, 1-2. Klausman at third, Micah Faribault second, and Johnston at first. The 1-2. In there for strike number 3. Wow. Some magic work out there by Rischel. 3 consecutive hits by Holsingers to load the bases with nobody out, and then he comes back and strikes out 2 batters and forces a pop out behind home plate. Unreal stuff by Rischel here through 4 innings. We were wondering how he would respond to a jam after the last 2 outings. He got through batters pretty easily. Now this time he proves that he can be clutch in the tight moments. Helps keep locker room's lead at 3-2 as we enter the 5th inning. Back with more here in just a moment. Cannon Shields in for his 5th inning of work.
Leading up on the 5th inning is the right fielder number 39, Keelan Wyatt.
It's likely that we'll see both of the starting pitchers in this game in for the entirety of the game, assuming that it goes the regular 6 innings. Even if we go beyond 6 innings, they still might think about it, but then at that point, you'd be a gray area with the rules and everything. So it'll likely just be 6 innings max. In fact, it has to be for these pitchers. So 0-2 count here to start off Keelan Wyatt, who's pinch hitting for Carter Wilmot. It's a common thing we've seen throughout the postseason so far. 0-2 count on locker room's number 9 hitter. Just up high, 1-2. So yeah, expect to see Shields and Rischel in for as many innings as both teams can have them in for. 1-2 on its way, and fouled back. We'll do another 1-2 count. Top of the 5th inning, 3-2 lead for locker room. This one offered up in foul territory, calling for it and getting under it for the catch is Micah Faribaugh. Pop out in foul territory there by Keelan Wyatt. Be out number 1 for locker room. Start off this 5th inning. Now we go to the top of the order with Lawson Pizowski, 0 for 2 on the night, with a ground out and strikeout. And he takes strike 1. Next one, and he fouls this one off. 0-2 here on Pizowski. The 0-2 on its way, well outside. That fastball. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Shields got Pizowski with a backwards K last time. Comes the 1-2 pitch. Swinging through it is Pizowski for strike number 3. Second time he's gotten him on strikes. That is the 6th strikeout by Shields on the mound here tonight. 2 outs here for locker room. Little dribbler sound down the third baseline there by Connor Steer, and it's 3 up, 3 down for locker room. So back-to-back 3 up, 3 down innings by Cannon Shields. The real question is whether Holsingers can get to tie Rischel or not. We'll find out after the break. Ty Rischel entering for his 5th inning of work as a starter here tonight for Locker Room. Of course, got out of that bases loaded jam in the 4th inning when there was nobody out, was able to get 3 consecutive outs to get out of that hole that he got himself in. Ball 1 here to Trenton Faribaugh, the leadoff batter. Was able to strike out Gio Peretta, get Taven Hatfield to pop out to the catcher, and then a backwards K to Ben Gordon, who was pinch hitting for Eddie Brumbaugh. Hard once and over to the shortstop. Was able to field it cleanly, though, and get the nice put out there. 6-3 put out of Trenton Faribaugh. And that's 1 away. Now up comes Xavier Faribaugh, who has a fielder's choice and a fly out to right field. Rischel's first one to him. It's an off-speed pitch. Outside and low. Next one. Popped up, and it's out of play, 1-1. Those 2 runs on the board for Holsingers came in the 1st inning off of a 2 RBI single by Micah Faribaugh. Since then, they've recorded 3 hits, and those 3 hits all came in the 4th inning. Ground out there of Xavier Faribaugh. They've been keeping Connor Steer busy over there at the shortstop position. And his fielding has been impeccable up to this point. 2 outs here against Holsingers. First 2 batters going down with 6-3 putouts, and now we have time called here as Rischel ties his shoe. Outfielders playing deep here against Cannon Shields. As a fielder's choice and a ground out would come around to score on that 2 RBI single by Micah Faribaugh. Lays one out to right field, and it's fair towards the line and rolling into foul territory. As Keelan Wine is able to get there in time to keep Shields at first base with a single. His first hit of this championship series. Check swing there. It goes high off the fence above the Holsingers dugout. 0-1 here on Carter Klausman, who is 2 for 2 with a single and double. The 0-1 curveball and thrashes it out to center field. 3 hits today for Carter Klausman, advancing Cannon Shields to second base. Carter Klausman seeing the ball well out of Rischel's hand tonight. And after 2 outs, back-to-back hits here by Holsingers. Now up steps Micah Faribaugh. That 2 RBI single we've been mentioning throughout the broadcast, and then another single after that. And there's a 3rd single. Grounding 3rd and coming in to score to tie the ball game is Cannon Shields. An RBI single there by Micah Faribaugh. Just like Carter Klausman, he has 3 hits in this ball game. The 4 and 5 spots in this Holsingers lineup have been incredible. 3 RBI day for Micah Faribaugh. Klausman at second and Micah at first. First pitch, and he's swinging at a high pitch there for strike number 1. Corbin Johnston reached on an infield single on what was a bunt. 1 for 2 for him on the day outside. And we have a 1-1 even count here with 2 away. Runners on first and second. Now a tie ball game. Next one just gets the edge of his bat. So it's a 1-2 count with 2 outs. And now the 1-2 offering. Curveball outside. Tried to get Johnston to go fishing, but he didn't bite. 2-2. Here's the 68th total pitch by Rischel, and it's popped up behind the second base bag, and making the catch is Declan Lutz. So to the 6th inning we go. After 2 outs to start off the bottom of the 5th inning, Holsingers with some 2-out lightning. A single by Cannon Shields, followed by another single by Carter Klausman, and then Micah Faribault would drive him in with an RBI single for his 3rd RBI of the night. We'll see if locker room can respond or not here after this break. Tie ball game at 3 apiece here in the top of the 6th inning for Game 1 of this 3-game series for the 2024 AABA Championship. I'm Jake Irwin. Thank you for making us a part of your Friday evening. Hope you had a wonderful 4th of July. After a quick meeting there between Xavier Faribault and Cannon Shields, we're ready to go here in the 6th frame. First pitch in there for strike 1 here in Cooper Miller. Lately, Shields has just been dicing up locker room batters, 3 up, 3 down the last 2 innings. 0-1 count. Here it is to the number 3 hitter. And he sends a bouncer off the fence for a foul ball. 0-2. Miller with a ground out and single up to this point in the game. Shields set. His windup. And 0-2. Just outside. Was expecting for a called strike 3, but that one was just outside of the zone. 1-2. And Cooper Miller gets a piece of that one and gets it over to his third base coach. And we'll do another 1-2 count. 1-2 on its way, and the right-hander deals. Swinging and missing at that one is Cooper Miller for 1 out. That is strikeout number 7 for Cannon Shields here in his 6th inning of work. And now up comes the cleanup batter, Ty Rischel. 2 ground outs. One of those was an RBI ground out in the 3rd inning. His bat resting on his shoulder, brings it up and slaps one down the third base line. Fielding it and throwing it across is Johnston, just in time. Beating out Ty Rischel, running down the first base line to complete the 5-3 ground out. 2 up, 2 down here for locker room. Declan Lutz going to try to prevent Cannon Shields from getting a 3rd straight 3 up, 3 down. First offering to Declan Lutz, and he holds back, thought about taking a cut at that one. 1-0. Lutz with a single and ground out. Would come around to score after his single in that 2nd inning. Here's the windup and the 1-0 on its way. Right down the middle of the plate, he takes advantage and slashes it past the second base bag. An error by the center fielder, Gio Peretta, which allows Declan Lutz to cruise into second base here with 2 outs. So score that as a single by Lutz, and then advancing to second on the error by the center fielder. Now up comes Braden Augustine. Had an RBI double in the second inning and then struck out after that. And a quick mound visit here for Cannon Shields. And Coach Brian Fairbaugh will part from the mound and head back to the dugout. Now the right-handed batter, Augustine, will step in. 2 outs, runner on second base. Locker room trying to get that big insurance run that they've been looking for. 0-1 here on Augustine. Takes a deep breath and gets comfortable in that right-handed batter's box. The 0-1 on its way by Shields. Throws a curveball, and it's a touch too high. 1-1. Outfielders playing medium depth. The windup and the pitch. Swinging through that one. The high heat there by Shields. 1-2. Shields positions his feet on the rubber. He kicks and deals the 1-2. Very high fastball there and inside. Shields showing off that velocity there. Declan Lutz at second base with 2 away. The 2-2. Hits a sharp one right over the shortstop, but Trenton Fairbaugh is ready for it, flashes the leather, and completes out number 3 here of locker room. So with 2 outs, Declan Lutz got a single and then advanced to second base after an error by the center fielder, but Shields takes care of business and has Augustine line out. All Holsinger's needs is a run to win the ball game as we head into the bottom of the 6th here in Game 1 of this championship series on the AABA Sports Network. Bottom of the 6th, we go. Locker room wasn't able to take the lead at the top of the 6th after some more great work by Cannon Shields on the mound. So now Holsingers just needs 1 run to win this ball game and take Game 1 of this 3-game series in the 2024 AABA Championship. 7, 8, and 9 hitters due up here for Holsingers. It's Gio Peretta, 0 for 2 on the night with a pair of strikeouts. Ty Rischel out there for his 6th inning of work, and the first one he deals is swung at for strike number 1. The windup and the 0-1 pitch offering a bunt, and it goes foul. 0-2 on Holsinger's center fielder. Rischel gets the one he wants. And his 0-2 pitch. Curveball. Hit down the third baseline. Fielded there. And thrown across for the ground out. Well done there by Augustine. Had one bouncing towards him down the third baseline. Didn't let it get past him. Made a good, strong throw across the diamond. Now the number 8 hitter Taven Hatfield reached on an air and then popped out to the catcher behind home plate. And a 1-0 count here on Hatfield in his third at-bat of the evening. Next one, high and outside, 2-0. Six hits in the last 2 innings for Holsingers. 3 in the fourth and 3 in the fifth. 2-1 here on Hatfield. 9 total hits in this ball game for Holsingers and 5 for Locker Room. The 2-1. Pops this one up to the shortstop. He camps under it and makes a two-handed catch for out number 2. So a ground out and pop out by the 7 and 8 hitters will bring up Eddie Brumbaugh. Second at bat of the night after Ben Gordon was a pinch hitter for him in the 4th inning. Takes one for a ball, 1-0. Rischel set, and his 1-0. Curveball, upstairs, 2-0. It's crucial that Rischel takes care of the bottom half of this order because we go to the top with Trenton Faribaugh here after Eddie Brumbaugh. And although Rischel's been pretty successful with the top half of the order today, you still don't want to take any chances, of course. They're at the top of the order for a reason. 3-0 here on Brumbaugh with 2 away. And the pitch. It's outside. 4 straight balls to the number 9 hitter, Eddie Brumbaugh. First time he's reached base tonight. And now we go to the top of the order with Trenton Faribaugh. 1 for 3 on the day with a single and 2 groundouts. Runner on first, 2 outs. Brumbaugh represents the game-winning run, time call before the pitch can be thrown. Umpire checking over at first base here. And we have an untied shoe. So that's the reason for our delay. All right, so the shoe is tied. 2 outs, runner on first. And up comes Trenton Faribaugh for his 4th at-bat of the night. Righty versus righty battle. And the first pitch to him. He shows a fastball right down the plate. 0-1 count on Holsinger's shortstop. Next one. And he hits a high one in the shallow right field. Second baseman's under it and makes the catch. Well done there by Lutz. And we've got bonus baseball for you here in Game 1 of this championship. Coming up to you here in just a moment. New pitcher into the ball game here for Holsingers as starting pitchers only able to throw a maximum of 6 innings. So now up comes the bat of Mason Steer. 7, 8, and 9 hitters due up for locker room. Last time we saw Micah Faribaugh through 1 inning in that second game of the semifinals against LS Fury. He's set, and his first pitch, grounder right back to Faribaugh, and he just underhands it over to first for quick out number 1.
That brings up number 27, Nate Buckley.
So Shields going over to first base. Nate Buckley, a pinch hitter for Tobias Smith, takes ball 1. Next one, 1-0. Just upside. 2-0 here on Buckley. And the 2-0. 2-1 count here on Buckley, the number 8 hitter. And he throws his 2-1 pitch, swinging through that one, 2-2. Locker room with 1 hit in the last 3 innings. And it came in the 6th, that single by Declan Lutz. Last scored in the 3rd inning. Down the first base line, it's a foul. And we'll do another 2-2 count on Buckley. In the 2-2, swinging through that one for strike number 3. First strikeout of the day for Micah Faribaugh. So now 2 outs here on locker room here at the top of the 7th. And up comes the number 9 hitter here for locker room. And it's in there for strike 1 here on Keelan Wyant. Came in as a pinch hitter for Carter Wilmot in the 5th inning. Popped out to the first baseman last time. The 0-1. Thought about swinging at that high pitch, but just a touch above the zone. 1-1. Micah Faribaugh leans in, gets his pitch. The kick in, the 1-1. Swinging away at that one, but getting nothing but air. 1-2 count. Micah Faribaugh trying to go 3 up, 3 down here in his first inning of relief work. After 6 innings by Camden Shields. 1-2. Into the turf. 2-2. Left fielder playing very shallow out there. More so than the center and right fielder. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs, nobody on base. You're in the top of the 7th. And gets Keelan Wyant looking. And his first inning of relief work. Micah Faribaugh goes 3 up, 3 down with 2 strikeouts. To the bottom of the 7th we go with Holsingers just needing a run to win game 1 of this championship. Back in just a moment.
Catcher number 3, Xavier Fairbaugh.
2, 3, and 4 hitters due up here for Holsingers. Here in the bottom of the 7th, Game 1, the AABA Championship. And it's Cooper Miller as the new pitcher into the game for Locker Room. Throws a first pitch ball. Xavier Fairbaugh with a fielder's choice, fly out and ground out. The windup and the 1-0 here from Miller. Right down the middle, foul tip, 1-1. Ty Rischel in at first base now, with Miller coming from first into the pitching position. The 1-1. Slams this one out to shallow right center field. It's in for a base hit. Rounding first and heading into second base for a double is Xavier Fairbaugh. What a time to get your first hit of the ball game. The winning run at second base now with nobody out.
First baseman number 2, Cannon Shields.
Cannon Shields with the opportunity to walk this off. Any hit into the outfield, and it's most likely ball game. Shields with a fielder's choice, ground out, and single. First pitch to the number 3 batter, and he takes it to the bottom of the zone for strike 1. Miller set at the chest. Long leg kick here, and his 0-1 pitch. Tapper sent down the third base line, but it goes foul. 0-2 here on Shields. Carter Klausman on deck here for Holsingers. Klausman working on a 3-for-3 day with a pair of singles and a double. And right after him is Micah Faribaugh, who also has 3 hits. Dangerous part of the order coming up here for Holsingers. Here's the 0-2. Shields taps it foul and stays alive to see another pitch. Shields adjusts his helmet and gets comfortable in that right-handed batter's box. Awaits the pitch from Miller, and here's the 0-2. Off speed, just outside. Great plate discipline there by Shields. 5th pitch of this at-bat coming up here. And here it is from Miller. Slams this one out into right field, and it's in for a base hit. Getting the sign to head home and score, and in is Xavier Fairbaugh. It's a walk-off RBI double by Cannon Shields for Holsingers Plumbing to take Game 1 of this championship. A multi-hit game for Shields and a walk-off, putting Holsingers in a position to be just one win away from winning its 3rd consecutive championship. So in Miller's first inning of relief work, gives up back-to-back extra base hits, with the second one bringing in the game-winning run for the 4-3 final. Game 2 taking place here tomorrow, so be sure to tune in here on Facebook or YouTube, whatever you're watching on, for full coverage of that. Thank you for all who tuned in and supported the players. Always nice to see those kind of comments coming in. And we'll see you tomorrow here on the AABA Sports Network. Holsingers takes Game 1, 4-3.